We get free Xanax for coming to this.
Sorry, not a physician. Can't prescribe that.
That whole shot.
You'll be so relaxed by the time you're done with this, you won't even need to think about it. Yeah, all these magical ways to take care of yourself.
Perfect. What's up, Dave?
Osmo Strauss now.
Yeah.
Can't do everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you will.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Hi there, how are you? I'm good. Good.
Let's see if our stream is working. Okay, so there's a little bit of a delay, but it looks like it's working.
Good.
So, my fever recorded.
It's live. Probably delayed about a minute or so. It says zero. It still says 0 viewers on here.
Everyone's bringing lunch in. So it's much more convenient. Okay. No wine or lunch. Get the next slide I gave you.
I did, thank you.
I was thinking of it and I wanted to give that to you before I forgot.
So just so you know, I have to leave early, so if you see me get up, it's not because I'm not enjoying it. I've got another meeting to run to. Just thought I'd better point that out. Oh, thank you.
Hey Nick, what time do you have to get up and go?
What's that?
What time do you have to get up and go?
Probably about 20 after.
Oh. Because I have to leave early.
make sure I get up and go too, but that's true.
Everybody else's food and there was no
Try to get a few more people towards the front. Okay, let's do All right, everybody, we're going to get started. Thanks for coming. We're also streaming over the internet, so we've got some folks in Columbus watching as well. I'd like to introduce Becky Bouillon. She's a registered nurse and also a health coach, and she's going to be talking to us today about stress management.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having us here. It's nice to see everybody eating a healthy lunch. Nathan, Brendel, our dietitian, looks like he's been here, right? Talked to you guys about healthy eating, so not that you wouldn't have been interested before, but Anyhow, thanks for having me. As Matt said, I am an RN and I work with ProMedica Wellness. Lots of years with ProMedica Wellness. One of the things I do is stress management, teaching that. I'm living here today and going to what we call ProMedica University. And it's a class set up for employees of ProMedica because everybody has stress. So today is stress day for me. I'm going. Hopefully the trip to Toledo Hospital won't be stressful because I don't have the freeway there. I'm from Astoria, so I have a little bit of a trip up here, but the only thing I have to worry about is deer, not like pylons and everything else you guys have. So, one of the things I also do is tobacco cessation, weight management, as I said, wellness coaching. We do health fairs, we do shots, we do all kinds of things. So one of the favorite things is stress management because, if you pick up one thing today that you can take with you, then I've done my job. So. We're going to go over some things. Maybe some of them are like, I've heard this stuff before. But, everybody's in a different place with what they're, maybe where they're at in their life. So, if I share some nugget today that you benefit from, then I've done my job. So today we're going to talk about stress management and finding balance. Very tough time of year for us as we start the holidays. I do have a handout about the holidays. But just in our work home life balance, it's hard to do that. So hopefully today you'll pick up something. Before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, I would ask all of you to stand and kind of have a little icebreaker. We got a few prizes. I know some of you are eating, but if you could take 5, just and we'll look about your health habits because having good time management habits helps with our stress. So let's see how savvy you are with your time, which also affects your health, okay? I have a few prizes, so see those. So read the last one. I'll ask you a series of questions. If you answer yes to a question, quietly sit down. Okay? The goal is to see who is the last man or woman. All right. Number 1, did you arrive late today for work? If you did, sit down. Did you spend more than 3 hours of screen time, that is TV, computer, electronic games, yesterday after you got off of work? Okay. Check and think about it in a minute. Do you check your emails more than 3 times a day? He should not win for that. Let's cross everyone else. Why? Because then we have to go chase him down because he's not here. All right, well, that's only 4 questions, so wow. Well, you guys are very good at this. All right, so those of you who are the last 2 standing, I do have a salad shaker that you can have, and it's got a nice little fork in there that it's contained. There's a couple other people who.
You know, you can that question out because that's required of our job to check our email constantly. What would be next?
Okay, well,
salad.
all right. Well, we can. Those of you who are standing, will stand up. Okay. Those of you who are still standing, before my question, I think that's that clarification. All right. Do you use your calendar? Do you use your calendar only for meetings and appointments?
What was it?
Do you use your calendar for only meetings and appointments?
But if you don't even do that.
All right, let's move on. There's too many. You guys are making this too difficult. Do you attend a meeting? Did you attend a meeting in the past month that you did not need to?
Why is it done?
Because I got the school in the paper, purple plant.
Oh, okay.
In the last 3 months, did you miss a deadline on a project?
No.
Have you been late to a meeting or an appointment in the past 2 weeks?
You invited me.
There's a reason for that.
Did you eat lunch at the desk or workstation anytime in the last 2 weeks?
What about breakfast?
Did Did you miss an activity that your children or grandchildren were participating in because of the work commitment in the past 6 months? Have you spent more than 10 minutes looking for a lost item in the past month? And the final question, in the past 6 months, did you send a work email between midnight and 5 a.m.? All right. So, with a little bit of a change, you were still standing. I think
I was real close on a couple of deadlines, so I think I made them all.
because you were the last one standing in the other, would you rather have this or the earbuds?
I was the night that one that said, it should be visited one.
Oh, okay, all right. So what does this show us? You know, just, these are kind of things that can cause stress to us if we make our work our priority, and we know it has to be, but for some of us, it's always on our mind. So there were a couple of you sat down with the, if sending an email between 5 and 10, or 10 minutes, or midnight and 5 a.m., how many of you out of the group would raise your hand? In the past 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. All right. So this is kind of a fun thing to do, and you know, see what kind of people or what kind of health habits other people have. But it looks like you all are committed to your jobs, and that's good. But yet sometimes it can be a source of stress. All right. So let's move on. All right. Is this what your workstation looks like? You're sitting at your desk. Sticky notes all over your head. If you have one more, you would probably with my space for it. Is this what it looks like? And then you go home to this. Multiple things happening. We're always trying to multitask. Is this anybody looks like your life? Yeah. Relate. All right. You ever feel like you're spinning plates in a circus? You ever feel like you're jumping so many projects that if somebody hands you one door, you're just going to drop them all, and you know, nothing is going to get accomplished. You could get everything done if you had more time every day, or if you were unable, or you gave them less sleep, right? But unfortunately, we are already sleep deprived. One of the questions I sometimes ask when I'm talking about lifestyle habits is sleep. How many people got between 7 and 9 hours of sleep at night? Another source of stress, so we must just think about that as a part of this. So, what is stress? This was a definition that I found years ago that I thought was a pretty solid definition because it's different for everybody. So when the demands in your life exceed your ability to cope with them, you know those people who are just, they love more stress the better. They're so high strung, they just love it. They thrive on it. But then there's those who really reach this point and they just can't do it anymore. So you can manage stress by managing your environment. Think about stress, acute stress and chronic stress. How many of you have experienced this acute stress in the last month? And this is just an example. Your boss calls and needs something now or yesterday. Okay. What kind of a reaction do you have when you get that phone call? What kind of physical response do you have?
I get like a knot in my stomach. I almost have like that tense feeling in your chest.
A little bit of chest pain happens, heart pounding a little bit, it's like, oh my gosh. Your blood pressure rises. If somebody had a blood pressure cuff at your desk at that time, blood pressure probably, yeah, a little bit. Some people have some angst. You have that, oh my gosh, I cannot believe they're asking me to do one more thing. On the other hand, chronic stress. A lot of people are living with this chronic stress. People have aging families who, you know, are living, perhaps their parents are living in with them, maybe their children moved back home. They had a loss of a ever had a chronic illness, had a life-threatening illness, loss of a job, working with a gal in wellness coaching, and she's had some issues that, it's like, oh my goodness, she had one more thing. Last week when I talked to her, she said, guess what, Becky? As if I didn't have enough going on, my husband came home and lost. So, it's just crazy what everybody has to deal with. But with the chronic stress, you go to bed and wake up thinking the same thing over and over, and you just wish it would go away. The chronic stress really takes a physical toll on you. Now, the acute stress, again, it causes some physical symptoms, but they usually go away after, it's like, okay, all right, I can do this. I can, take a deep breath and then you can do this. But with the chronic stress, your performance is affected, and you're forgetting some things. You get tense and irritable. Your relationships can take a toll. You're isolated from other people. People just don't know what's wrong with you. What's the matter with her? All of a sudden, she's not how she used to be. And we can start, some rumors, and we can start pointing fingers and saying this is wrong. But my statement that I hope that you reflect on today, and remember, not only at work, at home, at shopping, at church, at dinner, is that everybody's got stuff going on. We don't know what that stuff is. And so, they may be suffering from something, one of these things, we don't know. We suddenly make this assumption that she's being a bitch or he's being a pain in the butt. We don't know. So I think if there's one thing you take home today, and I have to tell you personally, I was always jumping to conclusions like that. And I always stop and think that, it's like, I don't think what people are going through. And teaching stress management, of course, through ProMedica, we always start with, because it's for our course, starting with, tell us one thing that's going on in your life. It's like Vegas, we keep everything in the room. But the stuff that people go through is just the things that they try to go to work every day, or they function, they have this going on and that going on. I felt so guilty when I started teaching the course, because when first time I took the course as an employee, when we started that, I was the first one who went to, I'm like, oh, God, what's my stress? My stress was my daughter had just got engaged and we were planning a wedding. Now, to me, that was a stressor because, life was good, nothing else was going on. But then when I heard other people with some of the things they were saying, I'm like, shame, but you just have to realize that, everybody's stressors are different. Everybody responds to them differently. But it's very humbling to hear what's going on. So just wanted to expound on that a bit. So it's all stress back. Think of a time when you had a good stress. Anyone has presentations? Anyone sing, dance? You have to prepare. Just like I had to prepare for today. There's a little bit of stress there. But if I just walk in here and didn't look at my notes ahead of time and so forth, then it'll probably reflect in my comment cards. But it makes you perform at the top of your game, correct? Yeah. So it's not all negative. Negative stress can overstress you, distress you. And what do you think is the number one source of stress?
Money, work.
According to the American Psychological Association, the top two sources of stress are, who said job, and financial. Okay. There's no doubt that it's an epidemic. It's been estimated that over 2/3 of physicians' office visits are related to stress. Is a major contributing factor to the 6 leading causes of death in the United States, either directly or indirectly, impacting coronary artery disease, cancer, respiratory disorders, accidental deaths, cirrhosis of the liver, and suicide. And it can also aggravate other conditions such as MS, diabetes, mental illness, alcoholism, and drug abuse. So think about it. What is your stressor? I'm not gonna ask because of the time, but think about what is your stressor? Is it work, is it home, is it combination, is it kids, is it finances? Expounding a little bit on the job stress, 40% of workers report the job was very or extremely stressful. Is that telling about your situation? I think more and more facilities are feeling that because we're asked to do more with less. I've been in the profession of nursing for 38 years. We had a plethora of nurses. I remember the day that you would have nurses sitting in the break room with their feet up. You have to jump over them to grab something off the cart, sitting there smoking. Where have, how long, we have changed. But now, everybody's asked to do more with less. And in healthcare, the patients are sicker. They're sicker, and so you have to be really on top of your game. Fortunately, I haven't been in the acute care world for about 18 years, but I know I couldn't at this age go back to the floor and do that because it's very, very tough. Hi there. But have a seat.
I'm happy.
Oh my gosh, really?
Okay. Employees believe that they're working.
Is this stress related? Yeah. I should probably leave. That could be the majority of all
I can
this.
say the source of stress perhaps?
Yeah.
Ah.
I should probably leave. I didn't know that was the topic.
I won't talk about job stress. As a matter of fact, 20% of workers said they were very armed and that were often burned out or stressed by their work. So these are some statistics from the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. So, is time management part of your stress? And with some of the questions that I asked in the beginning with the little icebreaker, how many of you relate, how many, those kind of things, that causes you stress right out the chute. Because if you're running late and you get in that traffic on 75 or I couldn't do it. So if you can eliminate 15 minutes of wasted time each day, you'll gain 5 hours of time. Okay? So where could you find that 15 minutes? Think about that. Wasted time. No, that's kind of that's a necessity. I think it's just a gradual process. But again, everybody's different. Some people are, how many people get upset when the line goes up? Boom, up. And then there's a group of us 4 times. So we need to be aware of what our stressors are and document them weekly and see where you can eliminate them. So again, this is something that if we were in a longer class, I'd ask you to write down some of those things. Where could you eliminate that? Some of the answers I often get are small talk. There's people who Monday morning come in and feel the need to tell you about it. You have something that you have to get to, and they want to tell you every minute detail from the last time you saw them on Thursday or Friday to afterwards Monday morning. Probably could be longer than 15 minutes. But we need to know how do you handle these situations. You don't want to say, what, get out. So you have to come up with some tactics so that if you're not rude, just let them know that. I need this money. Right? So we all have the same number of minutes in our day. We just need to make a conscious decision on how to spend them. I read this one time that said, if you don't let other people spend your money, why would you let them spend your time? Think about that person. I'm not just saying here at work, but in your circle of life. Think about that. And you can't get that time back. So if they really are causing some issues that cause you stress later on, then think about that. I don't want to spend my money. I don't want to spend my time.
because it was family.
How many of you, I shouldn't ask this.
I
Still
should.
here?
How many of you quit your job? Nobody wants to raise their hand. Yeah. It's amazing to me the number of people who would not, because they like the structure, they love the social part of it. So, it keeps your mind busy. Exactly. Exactly. My parents are 84 and 81, and they're still both working. My father was 28 hours. My mom was 80, 81 next week. They work in a nursing home. My father takes care of the lawn and all that kind of stuff. And my mother plans social activities. She does the decorating, blah, blah, blah. And my dad talks about the old cars at the nursing home. Dad, those old cars are younger than you. But it's because his quality of life is so good because he's still working. So I think that speaks to that. What about 6 months? Typically, the answer is, getting your affairs in order. But this is a tough question. I'll wait for a day. Sometimes people say, making sure I spend time with my family, reaching out to people I haven't seen for a while. And, in light of what just happened over the weekend, makes us stop and think that what are we waiting on? Everybody has priorities that are a little bit different. But it takes one small event to turn things around. So if something like that, having a dispute with a family member or a neighbor or someone, if that's what causes your stress, let it go. Let it go. Reach out to these people. You'll find inner peace and it was so much better. Just think about that. As we talked about a little bit about time being a big cause of stress, time management skills are really crucial to managing stress. But we need to identify what is important. How many of you have seen that magic square? You put things that are important and urgent and not important, those kind of things. I could send you one of those magic ones, send it out. But it's a really good time management tool. And again, this is more about life balance, but it's a really good time management tool because you can put in there and put it out on paper. Sometimes just putting it out there and writing things down, like, ooh, I can get rid of that, I can get rid of that. This needs to go over here. And what often happens is that we're working on managing things for other people, managing other people's emergencies. We don't take time for ourselves, which is causing our stress. So we need to move things over to taking time for ourselves. The first thing that we have to do in that I see over and over is giving yourself permission for that. Because again, we're all caught up in managing other people's emergencies and jumping to their call. But we don't take time for ourselves. Identify what's important, and it's more than just making a list and crossing it off. Okay? How many of you are listening? I without that. But let me tell you that tool, and again, that reminded me, and I will definitely send that to you, about prioritizing your time and your tasks. Right? Because, start with a simple 5, 10, 15 minutes throughout the day and making a list of things that are really important to you. And then cross off that. And you'll find that maybe that 15 minutes that we talked about, you can find. Effects of stress on your performance. If you're understimulated, you don't really care about anything, you're bored, you're not fatigued, you're frustrated. If you are overstimulated, you're exhausted, those two things I think we just really go over there. And that's where illness starts, with the overstimulated, because of the physical toll that is taken on you. We talk about blood pressure elevated, the heart racing, ulcers, decisions and you can problem solve. Then, how those guys figured out they weren't this morning when I looked at this, but anyhow, the low self-esteem obviously goes over there with the understimulated, or it can go with the overstimulated too. And you just think, I'm not doing anymore, I can't do anything, because you have so many things going that you can't do anything right. This is just a kind of a picture of it. You know, the low stress, and you're not alert. Optimal stress, you're the top of your game. You're ready to do anything. And then high stress is disorganization. We respond to stress by making poor lifestyle choices. Thinking about the drug problem we have in the United States. It's between finances. A lot of times a stressor that don't have the funds, so we're going to turn to drugs. And you get into things of poor behaviors, overeating, under-exercising, and I don't really care about yourself, you don't eat well. Your mood becomes, anger, depression, loneliness. Take some medications to feel better, again, tobacco relates, and then smoking, alcohol. Low self-esteem, loss of control, unhappiness, guilt. These are all responses to stress. And cortisol, as you probably heard, is a stress hormone that's released when we're chronically stressed. It also affects our fatigue or anger, depression, ability to think. Again, this goes back to that the body's reaction to stress. The increased plate stiffness. That is why people have heart attacks so often when they're in a stressful situation, because they get this stick together, form a clot, we get a heart attack. Increased immune response. We're not sleeping. Decreased sleeping. Not eating correctly. Just not taking care of ourselves. Get cold. Just feel run down. Talking to someone the other day, I'm just really feeling bad and having all those issues. And then they started telling me their life. It's like, they go together. So, we know that, but if you take a moment to stop and think, it's like, I know what's going on. I've got a cold, I've got a throat, my ears are hurting, I'm not sleeping well, my stomach's upset. These things all go together. Again, for those people who are diabetic, the blood sugar goes up. People who have high cholesterol, that can be affected as well. Some people turn to food, comfort foods as a way of handling stress. Some people tend to not eat. But with that, we have with the increased appetite, people eat the comfort foods, maybe turn to some junk, and then we have an increased obesity rate. A few bills on another. So how to relax? This is kind of a approach that you can use. Remember, anybody remember? Train City USA. Everywhere you go, there's a train. My husband has a patience. I hear the patience office. I'm very patient, but we're driving, and all of a sudden, boom, down comes the gate. I think of that as a moment to stop, kind of gather myself, and he's instantly angry. So, you're driving 75 and you come upon that stop traffic now. You're in for 2 hours. You have all reason in the world to be angry. But sometimes use those opportunities to kind of, stop, take a deep breath, and think about what it is that is maybe causing you some angst throughout the day, a little bit tense. Your shoulders are up, you don't even realize it. If you're feeling bad, you're on the phone and you hang out from someone who's angered you, take the phone out, stop, break the cycle of stress, take a deep breath, release the physical tension, if you can do some progressive muscle relaxation where your hands are all tensed up and all set down. You can just kind of feel that going away a little bit. Focus on your energy, focus your energy on the problem at hand, and reflect on the cause. So there's something that's, it's not just reacting to a problem, but what was the cause of this? Or something that, you think different than me the next time. And choose how you want to deal with it. Do you want to pop off? Do you want to just sit back and see what happens? Again, maybe someone made you angry, and your initial response is to make a judgment about it. Remember one of the first things they said to you is, you don't know what's going on in the school. I'm sure you've seen the SMART goals before. This is something that you can do to recapture your time. Everybody seen these SMART goals? Yes. You can use this, to recapture your time or recapture your health. If your health has been, negatively affected by the stressors in your life. Being specific. What are you going to do? Use action words like apply, arrange, manage, build. I think the rules. What you want is plan. How am I going to make this happen? I need to plan for it. One of your thoughts on managing stress is to exercise. You can't just roll out of bed and expect that, okay, I'm going to go exercise for an hour or a half hour. You have to plan for it. Set your alarm early, you have to make sure your clothes are out, and you have to have somewhere to go. You have a basement, you have a video, you have something that you can do, so that it's not just a thought, and you can carry out this plan. So having a plan and carrying it out. It has to be measurable. Again, choosing a measurable goal gives you a chance to see progress and see how the change occurs. So if you say, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds at Christmas. But more importantly, what behaviors are you going to do to help you lose maybe 3 pounds at Christmas, 5 pounds at Christmas? I can't just say, okay, I'm going to jump on the scale and I lose 10 pounds at Christmas. I'm failure. No. What am I going to do to get there? I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to get up in the morning and exercise. I'm going to avoid junk food at all costs, and I'm going to have pizza or beer on the weekend. I'm going to get up from my desk and move around every half hour, things like that. So they have to be measurable goals. Don't set them that are so far out of reach that you feel like total failure if you don't reach those. Being realistic, actionable. Okay, those are again, doing exercise, and bringing healthy meals to school. You can't just say, okay, I eat healthy. You got to bring fruits and vegetables. And, somebody brings in high-fat foods and has it on your desk. Just say, no thanks. I'm not interested, but you have to make that plan. So, being realistic for you, I can tell all of you, all right, if you want to lose weight, this is what you need to do. But if you told me, well, I am not going to do the morning exercise. It's not realistic. It has to be something you live with and do for life. And then set a target date. Set mini goals. If you say that by next Christmas I want to be this way, what do you want to do between now and the end of the year? Set a little target date. And reward your successes. When you make some little tiny progress, you need to reward those. That was good. So how do you get everything done and still have a life? Think back to, and write it down, think about what those priorities were. Look at what you said in your mind that was important to you. And how much time you really spend on some of those things. Having a life ultimately depends on making choices. Those choices are all yours. You react differently when your boss tells you something versus someone at home who's probably a partner. You tend to act. But you decide how to respond based on what you think might be the potential consequence. My husband angers me, or he asks me to do something, or whatever. I can't do them either. My boss asks me to do something. I might not agree with it, but I know what the consequence would be. So, we react based on what we think the potential consequence is. You may agree with that. Yeah? Some stress reduction activities. Does anybody use any of these for stress reduction? Yes, just share.
I take my dog for a walk.
And it's a kind of activity. Ah, very good. Anybody else playing instrument? You lose yourself in that kind of thing. Good morning. So, 5 a.m. yoga. Wow. Was it tough for you to get into that routine? How does it make you feel at the end of the session? Do an hour? Anyone else? I have to apologize. On your handout, I did not catch my spelling here. Mediation versus meditation. So on your handout, it says mediation. Rest of muscle relaxation, that's what I talked about. But you can start with your head and your shoulders. Tense it up and then relax. And you can feel the tension go away. The same thing with your hands. A lot of people use this when they're trying to sleep at night because they can't. Yes, I can never get it. Yes, good. How far do you get usually? I don't really have trouble sleeping. Guided imagery, anybody use that? Guided imagery is kind of going to a place that's very special to you. In your mind's eye, what is heaven on earth to you? Famous or special vacation spot, or something that's special to you. Closing your eyes. Some people use music. Some people just reading through it. It helps them relax. So I would invite you, if you have some issues with this kind of thing, practice physical activities, great stress relief. Releases endorphins, makes us feel good. I hate it, but I love it. It's one of those kind of things, I do Zumba 3 nights a week. Somebody else? Does Matt teach you? You did? Ooh, look at that. After some long days, it's the last thing I really want to do because you physically in the car and you go there. But once I leave this, I feel like I'm on dancing at the start when I do it. But it's fun. Massage therapy. The holidays are coming. Ask for a massage for a gift because it's a great stress relief. Chair exercises, things you can do sitting at your desk. Again, doing kind of shoulders and bending down, doing things to get your body up and moving. Spirituality and prayer. We have to take care of ourselves. 90% of people believe in God and we need to stay in touch with the higher power every day. So not about religion, but think about that and find something that you can relate to. Count on and trust that God will guide your life. Learn to take action when you can make a difference. We can't always make a difference, but there are times that we need to make time, relax, and something positive in the day. I think that's something we should do at the end of the day. I think there's so much negative in the world. And like I said, it doesn't have to. It's real easy for us to know and things that what's going on. But learn to let go of things that are outside your control. We cannot change everything. You just have to let it go. Sometimes it's very difficult to do, but once you make a decision and realize that the consequences are going to kill you or someone else, then it's a little bit easier. Give your time to something or someone you believe in. Don't wait for the weekend. Do something that gives you kind of a break. With work balance, creating a balanced schedule. don't overcommit yourself. I don't know how many times I hear people say, well, they need, you know, my daughter's, Girl Scout troopers need to do this, my son's this, and to do this, they need me to drive them, they need me to bake, you know, 4 dozen cookies for next Wednesday or something. And again, think about it, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen if you say no? You have to learn to say no, and it's, be okay with that. Oh, I can't find somebody else. Because you know, with attorney, you're always that, you know, the one to say, oh, absolutely, absolutely. But then you cause stress for yourself and don't take time for yourself. Try to leave early in the morning. If, you know, if that latest thing, I didn't listen to those people, and plan regular breaks for yourself. Not when you're sitting here eating lunch, but when I ask the question, how many do you eat at your desk, and then go to that too, because we think we need to get it all done. No one is going to walk up to you, knock on your door, and say, listen, Matt, after your lunch, so go ahead, take your half hour, and when you come back, things will all be better. Nobody's going to say that. So if you choose not to take that, it's your fault. You know? You deserve it. You've got a beautiful facility around here. I wish I had this area to go out, take a walk. Not put the headset on because there's a lot of traffic. But kind of lose yourself, and you know, in the morning you'll come back refreshed. And you know, again, you deserve it. It's part of your day. Prioritizing life. Again, you know, most of the small stuff, as they say. How important is everything that's under the list? Break projects into small tasks. Teamwork. Don't think that you have to be the only person. You know I do it better than you do. I delegate it to you, but then I just get back to you because I'm not satisfied with that. And I have more than pile on things to delegate, and again, recognize that everyone has stuff to do. Maybe there's not on top of their game today. So, okay, maybe I will help share the load a little bit, but don't let them use you, and they know that the elephant, you know, so when is it more than just stress? When do you need to draw the line and seek some professional help? Again, we're talking about some techniques that you know you can do. You don't need physician's order to do. You can just. But the first thing is giving yourself permission and taking time for it. But what if you can't control it? What if it's more than just stress? You're unable to control, you have constant and excessive worry, you lost interest in pleasurable activities, persistently sad, anxious, or mental feelings, sleep issues, feelings of guilt, worthlessness, or hopelessness, thoughts of hurting yourself or others. These are not fixable by stress management course, trust me. And it's okay to seek help, to seek help. If your work has a EAP or something like that, but contact your healthcare provider and let them know that you are needing some help. It's a real issue. It's a real disease and depression. It's not something that we need to have as an elephant in the room that we can talk about. But stress that is not handled can turn into depression for some people and then have some of these issues. Some cues that you might need help in addition to these are, you know, some evening classes. The quality of the work itself, which you don't really care. You arrive consistently, you call in sick, you become emotionally distant from your coworkers. And that's, you know, small words like this, you're certainly going to notice somebody's not going and everything. And again, it's not starting rumors and saying what's going on with her, but you know, actually taking real interest in saying, you know, I just not yourself. There's something that I can help. You know, you don't need to have them share it, but just let them know that you're there for them. Really, if you want some kind of help. upon hearing rumors of a layoff, you say, "There's take me." So, like I said, talking with your physician will help you with that. It's important. Because everybody needs help now and then, and it's okay, I think, to admit it. This is something I found that I really very powerful. Power of choice is real. We choose to love rather than hate. Choose to heal rather than wound. Choose to give rather than grasp. Choose to act rather than delay. Choose to pray rather than despair. Choose to smile and to frown. Choose to forgive rather than curse. Choose to will rather than destroy. Choose to persevere rather than quit. Choose to praise rather than gossip. And for heaven's sake, be grateful. When we are coming upon the holidays, on time of the day, like, we give thanks for many things. And reflect on the positives and be grateful for everything that you have and what you have. When you think about what people are who don't, some people's choices. I think about that gentleman who really told me her husband just flew out of the we're going to get him. It's an unfortunate situation. I found this the other day. It said, life is full of give and take. And take nothing for granted. Powerful. So. These are some books to consider. Websites to consider. Anyone have any questions? Before you leave, I do have some comment cards. I also have some stress magnets. So if you would take them down, pass around kind of thing. If you could please take a moment and fill up comment card, and then leave that, please. This is a handout, stress strategies for the holidays. I'll pass these out too if you'd like. These are quite old, but I'm telling you, the message is still so powerful. Need pens? Anyone need a pen? You can have one for each personality. Everybody have some small, everybody good. You can just leave your comment cards and leave them on the table. Thank you again for your time. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Just lay them on the table.
And then when you guys log into your wellness portal, you should be able to record your attendance on there. So in the last email that Tony sent out, he sent the how you can get in, and then there should be an option on there to add the wellness training today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank Look, you're doing a little dressing in the top. Isn't that cool?
Great.
I love it. I'm a little jealous now you got it. I didn't think it was fair.
It was fair.
I know.
Bouillon checker.
All right, I meant to do this. Anybody have a birthday off from New Year, Thanksgiving?
Birthday, you
Vacation, what? Man, I can put you in chair. This was a gift too. I meant to do this for early. So find out who has a birthday post.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. My daughter's the mother doesn't buy the house.
All right, and we have the people that are watching.
Well, exercise physiologists and stuff, nobody can create specialty. But, we talk about food, we talk about goals, keep thinking for, people who live outside, motivate people who live outside. Good, thank you. I hope that was what you're looking for.
This is our first, we started the wellness program this year, and people get points for doing the different action plans.
Yes.
And those kind of things. And then there's more points for them. That's great.
Oh, there it is. You know, I think when people see that, you know, they realize having things like this, out there, and things that, it makes them stop and think a little bit. Not just how I work, but really feel how we feel.
That is nice.
Yeah. For some people, you know, it takes a while to really think that. It's been a lot of negativity in the workplace, and they realize this. I'm like, jump right there.
Okay, just pull it up.
Oh, yeah.
That was my card.
That was mine. Oh, darn. I wonder if you can remember my brothers.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. We could probably swing by the office on the way out and say hello. Bye-bye.